Let us listen to Wole Soyinka as he accepts that he actually started pirate cult in Nigeria. After this, we shall bring in Mr. Niyi, a renowned political affairs analyst, to give us insight of what this means in Nigerian today's society and what this portends for our Nigerian students who are in the tertiary institution.
It was here, in this alcove, that it all started. The very first campus fraternity in Nigeria, perhaps in all of Africa. We called ourselves the Pirates, spelled deliberately with a Y. And we gathered as a kind of rebellious gesture against the colonial, formal, rather staid, stuffy atmosphere of the first university of Nigeria.
Back in the 1950s, it was simply a fun and debating society, our passion fueled with pre-independence idealism. After all, we were soon to be freed from the colonial yoke of Britain. We created an imaginary, non-conformist world, a piratical language, and chivalric code. Chivalry? Today's cultist would spit on the word.
Good my viewers, this is Nigeria News Center. Mr. Niyi, I want you to help us understand the statement that came from Professor Wole Soyinka. He was in a room and he was saying this is where it all started with pirates. So it looks as if Wole Soyinka is the father of cultism in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mr. Matthew. Yes, it is not a secret. In fact, it is an open knowledge that Wole Soyinka was the originator of what we call the non-conformist group then called the Pirates. They call it the cult of elites, all out to fight the colonial masters. That was the very purpose. However, along the line, we saw how this cultism degenerated, and of course, today, cultism in Nigeria is a menace as against our youth, as against the productivity of our youth, as against the peaceful coexistence of our youth, because the pirates today have even grown beyond the man who originated it. Wole Soyinka, who have been accusing the obedient, that Peter Obi cannot contain it. The question to Wole Soyinka is, can you contain the pirates of fraternity today? You started it. As a matter of fact, you created the constitution of the pirates confraternity. As of today, can Wole Soyinka, can he coordinate? Can he give orders that the pirates should not kill people? These are the legacies this man had left behind. This is a man who is the only Nobel laureate, I think, in Africa, if I'm not mistaken. But for sure in Nigeria, he has not left a legacy that people should be proud of, other than the pirate cult.
That reminds me, let me bring it to your knowledge. I think it's a public knowledge that he started what we have today as Road Safety Corps.
Road Safety Corps. Okay.
I think it started as a non-governmental organization before the government saw the value the thing was adding, and I think they took it over from him.
Well, I have not heard that. Is it their grand patron? You know, because people have never spoken about that over years.
But let us stay on this cultism. But let me ask you a question. Now that cultism is a menace in the society, is it right to ask Wole Soyinka to caution cultists across board?
Of course, yes. If Wole Soyinka can question Obi to question the obedience, I think you must understand that Wole Soyinka, set the fertile ground for cultism. Cultists are non-conformists. Cultists are rebellious in nature. And yes, when Wole Soyinka was a youth, he was rebellious. He was a rebel.
Not even a rebel. Do you have any event or incidents that he may have participated in?
A lot of it. He took a gun, he hijacked a radio station. I mean, those are the attitudes, those are the traits of a rebel. Yeah, I mean, there are so many unshareable acts that this man exhibited while he was a youth. While in the course of fighting the government, you should do it within the ambits of the law. But we saw Wole Soyinka going outside the law. You know, he was acting like a rebel. And of course, indeed, he was a rebel while he was a youth. And for me, I think Wole Soyinka today should, if he still has that moral standing, by the way, he should call the cult groups. He should call them out and tell them that they need to tone down this high level of killing. Because if you look at the news today, you see that the pirates, the Vikings, there are so many various varieties of them. They are killing themselves. And these pirates are still taking Wole Soyinka as their grand patron. They still see him as their father. So he should call them out. As a matter of fact, he should dissociate himself. Wole Soyinka has never for one day dissociated himself from the pirates, from fraternity. And they go around killing innocent people. So for me, I think Wole Soyinka has to an extent laid a foundation for chaos, for maiming of innocent lives, high level of vices. If you go to Benin, if you go to Port Harcourt, you go to Ile-Ife, children take pride in joining confraternity because they say that after all, Wole Soyinka was one of us. Wole Soyinka must come out, dissociate himself. And by that, people will no longer see any pride in joining those cultists. So for me, I think Wole Soyinka has not really done well for the youth. And my final take is he has failed the youth of this nation. Thank you very much.
Don't say on your final take, but let me ask you this. There was a time when Obasanjo was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He organized what we call renounce, when cultists were renouncing from school to school. I understand that Obasanjo and Wole Soyinka have been having a running battle. According to Obasanjo, it may take them to eternity to settle. Maybe they will go to war beyond to settle it. But do you think it would have been right for Wole Soyinka to renounce his cultism?
That would have been the right thing and the patriotic thing to do. And that would have been, a show of leadership, the courage, to set the wrongs right. But Wole Soyinka has never for one day renounced his role in the setup of the confraternity called pirates. Till tomorrow, Wole Soyinka still brings himself up as the what? Progenitor, the initiator, the founder. As a matter of fact, there's a video, which I believe our viewers must have watched before this. I started submitting my own take. Wole Soyinka was saying this is where it all started. So he takes a pride in it. Take a pride in what we call cultism, where people are killed. Should I call it occultism, not even occultic attitude? People go into the bushes in the middle of the night, they get initiated, and then they take some concussion, and then they go out to carry out all manners of evil. If Wole Soyinka is a righteous man, he must renounce his role. Otherwise, he's as good as nothing. The labor of it doesn't count, because how economically has it affected anybody? The only thing Wole Soyinka has set up that has affected people, though negatively, is confraternity. The confraternity has affected millions of people. His double right is for his own self. It's for his own personal aggrandizement. But if you that confraternity that he set up, it has destroyed millions of lives of Nigerian youth.
This is Nigeria News Center. I think I can let you go. Thank you for your time. But